Welcome to TRADEREP. This is Short Hammer. It is the 15th of August 2019. We are taking a look at Microsoft. Now this is the 4-hour chart, and what we're looking at here or looking for here is these levels. We're at the 134.10 supply demand line, and if we look across the last time we were here, I'll say the previous time we were here, we see a lot of consolidation around this point, back and forth, over and unders. And then if we look here, we sold through, and this was earlier this month. We had that strong dip in the after hours, and then the buy back up, the push through the 134.10s, the pull back through 132.71s, then a push up and the test of the 138s. So we see there's been some great range on Microsoft. And let's take a peek at the 5-minute to see what happened yesterday intraday and what we are going to be looking for on the intraday today. If we take a peek at this 5-minute chart, what we'll notice is that in the prior day, this is on the 13th, we pushed up over the 135.71s and we ran up during the day. We hit our head on the 138.78, pulled back to the 137.80, pushed up again, pulled back through, held this pivot, pushed back up, bounced, came back down, and we ran up into the 138.78 again. And finally, we're able to kind of get above that in the after hours. Then, before the open, they rolled us back through the 137.80s and dropped us all the way down here near the 135.71s, where we kind of went, sort of hammered on this and went kind of sideways for a little bit, but we hammered on this at the open and we rolled through, back tested. Then the sellers took control and drove the car off the cliff a little bit, pulled back. Then we spilled right into the 134.10s, pierced under, bounced off this pivot, regained the 134.10s, ran back up, 135s. Then we see the little pullbacks, then back to the 134.10. And right now, in the after hours, we're retesting the 134.10. Now, the expectation is, if we're bearish, we'll hold the 134.10 and we'll sell off. What would be better would be if we caught a bid and we squeezed a little bit up into this 135.71, retested and sold off from there. So let's look at the next level. 132.71 is the lower supply demand line, and above this 134.10, the 135.71 is the higher supply demand line. So what I'll be watching for is either a failure at this 134.10 to fade this down into this 132.71 area. And I'll make sure that I'll exit contracts here at this first hitch at the 133.44 if this happens. If we end up catching a bid and we buy up, I may get long into the 135.71. But here's the main intraday pivot at 134.84. I'll be scaling out a few contracts there also. Or if you're in shares, you scale out a few shares there on the way up. So either way that we go, we don't know where we're going to open up, whether it be gapped up or gapped down. But I see this bracket here that I'm watching, and unless they go sideways on us and we just sort of don't really move, we're going to tap either this 135.71, or we should tap the 133.40s again, or the 132.71s. I'll be watching all these supply demand lines and these pivots in this box. If we drop below 132.71, the next supply demand line is at 130.67. And if we pop the 135.71, the next supply demand line is 137.80. The reason I'm giving these broader ranges is because with the extreme catalytic, or I don't know if that's even the way to say it, but these crazy news swings and momentum swings that we have in the market, sometimes you have to see the expansion beyond the immediate range to see what the potential may be. So if we reach to that area, you know what to expect next, sort of what to look for. And so that's what I'll be looking for on Microsoft going into the cash session.